and it has been a long time since we've listened to Björk. Too long, some would say. I would say. Welcome back to the channel. I hope that you're having a lovely day. Thank you as always so much for being here. Today we are listening to Björk with her song Pagan Poetry. This is off of her album Vespertine, which was released in 2001. I just looked back on my videos and I've listened to 2 Björk songs on this channel and it's been like a year apart. I feel kind of bad. I mean, there's a lot of artists and bands that, I unfortunately just don't have time to get to everything. But I was looking, I'm like, I've only done 2 songs. So I figured it's about time. You know, it's about time to come back and listen to some Björk. I hope that you guys enjoy the music. I hope that you guys enjoy whatever journey she's about to embark us upon, because you know that she will always take you on a journey and take you somewhere. Let's get into the music though. I hope that you enjoy it. Thank you for being here. If you're new, say hi, introduce yourself. My name's Justin. How you doing? And let's do it. This is Björk with Pagan Poetry.
Fight I love him, 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 I love him. I loves him, she loves this time. I'm gonna keep it to myself. This time I'm gonna keep me all to myself. But it makes me want to have But it makes me want to
Like I said, you can always trust Björk to take you somewhere. And sometimes good music leads you to places you didn't know exist. Björk creates soundscapes and landscapes of sound and music that to me are always inspiring. You know, her voice is as delicate as a flower and yet as strong as you know what? Let me back up a second. Her voice, hear me out, is like a silken web. Spider's web. It's beautiful. The patterns are miraculous, and yet it has a ton of strength in its fibers. Her voice is silky smooth, so interesting in the patterns, in the way that she weaves her voice, the harmonies, the cascading of her voices amongst each other in certain sections makes small eruptions in the music solely with voice. Of course, the melodies are there in the back. You got what it sounds like, either harp or piano, something related to that. But you have those in the back in the underlying textures and in the crust. But at the core, you have her. And the way that she brings this mixture, this cocktail of music together is alluring and intoxicating. And like a spiderweb, you will get stuck in it, but you won't want to leave. You know? I have my theories on the lyrics, and I'm going to get into that a little bit later. But musically, this is just... it's warm and it's cold. It's inviting, and yet it's slightly alien. There's just, to me, a lot of depth in her music. And I always bring this quote up because it's one of my favorite quotes in general from music. But I love what Björk said at one point when she was being interviewed. Someone had asked her, I don't remember the exact question, but it was basically about her reliance on technology in her music. And does that take away from the human, the emotion? And she said a statement that's really true. No matter what you're playing, no matter what you're using or programming or what you're doing, you put the emotion in there. You have the heart behind the machine. It doesn't matter whether you're playing guitar or programming drum beats on whatever. You have to put the emotion in it. You know, you have to be able to feel the person behind the music. And I think here she does a great job of mixing all these things together. Of course, you have that deep, slightly distortion tone on top of that deep bass that you get throbbing forward in the kick. I love that. But amongst that, you have all the ambience of the melody, of the harp. Like I said, I think it's a harp. And whatever else is going on. There's a lot. And then, of course, you have the heart of it all, which is just her voice. I mean, this is just one of those tracks that it takes you somewhere, you know? And let me back off a little before I play it a little bit more. Even near the end, as the intensity grows, she brings the intensity with her voice. She brings in the snarl. You know, she goes from less of a delicate flower more into something different. And yet she always remains herself. She is in a whole stratosphere of her own. But, I mean, just listen to this. A snippet of the music, even. In just a second or two, there is so much depth to the music. I feel like you can take a slice of that pie and you can just look at all the layers. The crust, the filling, whatever else is in a pie. I don't know, I'm not a pie person. But maybe I should have used a layer cake. Sure, why not? Either way, it's got layers, it's got beauty, it's got passion. And I also love the way that she exclaims at the end and concludes the song with, I love him. You know? And she sings that part convincingly. And it feels convincing because we've taken this journey of a song with her in her self-discovery. Speaking of self-discovery, let's talk about the lyrics. That, my friends, is what we call a segue. Pedaling through the dark currents, I find an accurate copy, a blueprint of the pleasure in me. I feel like this is a song of not only self-discovery, but self-discovery in relating to her own personal sexuality. Pedaling through the dark currents. Use your imagination. I find an accurate copy, a blueprint of the pleasure in me. She's found something she likes, a blueprint, but not quite the actual construction. Swirling black lilies, totally ripe, a secret code carved, a secret code carved. Black lilies, a flower has for a long time been a symbol of feminine sexuality. Totally ripe. Use your imagination. He offers a handshake, crooked 5 fingers. They form a pattern yet to be matched. When it says they form a pattern yet to be matched, well, she says that he offers a handshake. So if they're yet to be matched, that means she hasn't accepted it yet. She's still kind of holding back, right? Because she's just on the cusp of self-discovery. So she's not ready to shake his hand. On the surface, simplicity, but the darkest pit in me. And it's pagan poetry, pagan poetry. I thought that was interesting because I was thinking, okay, what does pagan poetry have to do if I'm taking a stab in the dark at this? What does that have to do with self-discovery? Okay, hear me out. This is my theory, okay? Pagan, the opposite of pagan, typically is something relating to Christianity. True or not, just out of perception, especially in older times, the pilgrims and, oh my god, whatever, what were they called? I don't remember. But they were very, I don't want to say anti-sexual, but very, like, privately sexual, I think you know what I mean. Like, it wasn't looked upon with the freedom of expression that you have now, right? Sexuality was a little bit repressed. So, on the opposite end of the spectrum, pagan poetry, the freedom of expression that you would find perhaps in pagan cultures, and the poetry, not literal poetry, not writing, but something like writing, expressing yourself in a different way. Okay. Morse coding signals, they pulsate. They wake me up from my hibernating. When I think of Morse code, you think of and I believe that's literally how, like, in olden times you would do Morse code, like you got that little thing, I don't know what it's called, but you got that thing and it's like so use your imagination with what I'm talking about. Morse coding signals, they pulsate, they wake me up. Then we repeat the chorus. And then in the end, she finally realizes and she finally accepts, in a sense, accepting his handshake. I love him. I love him. She repeats this over and over. This time, I'm going to keep it to myself. This time, she loves him, she loves him, she loves him. I'm going to keep me all to myself. But he wants me, but he makes me want to hand myself over. Okay, so maybe she hasn't shaken his hand. Maybe she's in a sense saying, like, I love him, but wait. He makes me want to hand over myself to him. And I love you, but just wait. Something like that. I don't know if I'm close. I don't know if I'm way off the mark. But that's what I feel, and that's what I kind of get out of the music. And I feel like that theme fits into the build-up in the music, and then eventually the culmination and summarizing of her sexuality. That's what I got. I ain't gonna read anything else about it. That's what I got. That's what I'm thinking. I would love if you guys filled me in on the rest. If there are any blanks to fill, please fill me. You can let me know in the comments. You can also join me on Twitter. You can support the channel on Patreon if you'd like to do that. But for now, I hope that you enjoyed the past few minutes. I hope that you enjoyed the past few moments. Hope that you come back tomorrow for whatever else we do. And thank you so much for being here. I will talk to you tomorrow. Bye.